Hello everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. If you missed the last episode, we constructed two crafts to go to Duna. A command module and a lander craft. And we launched both of them into space and set them up on a rendezvous encounter. Somewhere over here it's going to happen. So here are our two ships right now in space. They're just kind of flying towards each other, so let's go ahead and pilot one of them, command module, because that's the one that actually has RCS, so we'll use that one. And it's going to be a little tricky getting these two to get together just because they're so big. I mean, look at this monster, and they're cumbersome, and they have these giant fuel tanks attached to the back of them, which I want to keep. I don't want to jettison those, otherwise I would just get rid of the damn thing, but this is what we got. Wow, that looks pretty cool, actually. So let's just take a look, and yes, our encounter is going to meet up right around here at about 4.6 kilometers. So all we have to do now is just kind of wait. The other craft is back there somewhere, and slightly higher than us. There it is. That's our target right there, the Duna Explorer. So we're just going to go forward in time a little bit. Watch these two things just get closer and closer. Now there's going to be a slight meet up here, but it's going to be too far away. 30 kilometers apart right here. We are getting closer though, in terms of inclination. See, it's coming down here. So we're going to line up that way, but again, it's too far apart. We'll waste too much fuel if we were to try to burn over there now. When we get a free encounter right here, basically, where again the inclination is going to be just right and it's going to be close, so there's no point in wasting fuel to try to get to it now. We can just wait. This looks like a legitimate spacecraft. I'm damn proud of myself. Unless I'm just totally deluding myself and it's going to suck. Who knows? I've honestly never built these kind of crafts before, never quite like this, so I'm not really sure how it's going to all work out, except I know that we're going to dock at the top. That's about all I know. We'll just fast forward a little further, and we are just coming in. You see, our target velocity is now increasing a little bit, but that's okay. Soon. Let's see, yeah, so we better do our thing here. Ooh, okay, we better get ready. So what we gotta do is point this thing to the anti-target reticle. Wow, this thing is cumbersome. Which is over here. And we're just gonna do a slight burn just to stop ourselves from getting away from each other. Just a small, controlled little burn. Bring our target velocity down. Another word for that is transverse velocity. We'll just follow it. There, that's good enough. So now we just want to point at the actual target, and we just want to push ourselves towards it. Because right now we are now stopped. We're going to basically hang at this distance for a while. Here we go. So we'll just do a little burst right towards it. Not too fast. We want to try to line that up so it's right on top of it. Very difficult to move this thing, but we're doing it. So we're going to meet up at 1.7 kilometers. I might just try to get that a little bit further. So now we're right on top of it. That means we're moving precisely at the target, which is exactly what we want. I just want to get this down a little further. One kilometer, that's good enough. We don't want to get going too fast, because then we have to kill all that velocity. In fact, by the time we turn around, we're going to be right at its doorstep. So we'll just turn the SAS off and flip the craft around, let momentum flip us. We're not in any sort of rush. There's no sense in wiping out the monopropellant. That's a nice little trick if you want to save on monopropellant. Just do like one little burst and then just let it slide. Make sure to take the SAS off. So now we're getting towards it again. And as, you know, a little side bonus thing, we can try to keep this anti-target reticle and the anti-movement reticle kind of lined up. That way we'll stay pushing right towards it. The reason it's sliding away from each other is because in space it's moving away from us. Because if you remember, we pushed ourselves that way, but of course that's when that was right there. But now that's over here, so that's why these targets are moving away from each other. Because in space everything moves, nothing is at a standstill. Okay. Oh, it's telling us... Oh, that's interesting. It's not really making much sense, but that's okay. So let's just push... Try to push this thing towards that thing. And that'll keep us on the straight and narrow here. That'll keep us flying towards it. There we go. See, now we're continuing to push towards it now. It stopped sliding to the left. And I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure we're lined up, because we need to brake very, very soon. We are heading towards it at an alarming rate. At 10 meters per second, which is quite fast if you think about it. So I just might push a little more. And this is going to be a bit challenging because both of these crafts have these giant orange tanks attached to them. It's going to be a little difficult to get these things to line up. And this is the only craft here with RCS on it. I didn't feel like putting it on this one. That's okay. We don't really need it on both crafts, as long as one of them has RCS. So here we are. I'm just going to go ahead and finish stopping. Looks like we're going to smash into it, but I think we'll be alright. As long as we don't actually smash into it. Okay. That's fine. I kind of want to go up a little bit anyways. There we go. We're not exactly stopped, but we can always fix that. Alright, so what we want to do now is get this thing pointing south, because it is drifting now south. And we want to set this clampetron as the actual target. That's the word. Target. And yes, I'm going to try to just really kill off whatever velocity is left, because we are moving away. And we do want to try to get that as close to 0 as we can. It's just kind of derping around right now. There, that's pretty close to 0. Okay. We were going to try to point south, but I got sidetracked. Let's do that now. Hopefully we don't eat up all that monopropellant. And you know, once we get rid of this orange tank, we won't even really need to use the monopropellant so much. We'll just twist it so that we are facing this way. Here comes south. Okay. There we are. So we are now lined up pretty much. Let me just shift over to this craft and make sure. Yeah, this one stayed pretty north. Stayed pretty true. Right there's good. We'll shift back. Again, we're going to set this as the target. Ooh, it is still a target. Okay, that's a big improvement. Okay, stop rotating. Alright. Let's go to a different view here. Chase view. Dr. Choice. Choice view. Now we can just use the HIJKLMN keys. I'm going to push K, and hopefully this thing... It's a little off balance because the center of mass is a little screwed up. Because because we weren't planning on having a giant orange tank right there, but we are pushing up towards it, and that's the important thing. I just want to make sure I don't smash into it. I might just hit the N key just to back off just a little bit. Not too much, though. It's a very slow process that we're going here, but that's what we need. It's got to be slow, because if it isn't, we're liable to do some serious damage here to our spacecraft, and we don't want to do that. So I'm just going to keep pushing upwards as the Earth, not the Earth, as the Kerbin rotates. We're just getting closer. Again, I might just tap the N key a little bit because I don't want to smash into it. Now is where I'm kicking myself for not putting lights on the front of this thing, 'cause it's a little bit hard to see it. Thank God we're in the daytime. It's about noon here in this side of the Earth. I keep calling it the Earth. It's on this side of Kerbin. So we have plenty of time left to get this thing. Alright. We're getting close to the correct attitude now. Just wait till it's lined up this way just right, and we can just tap the time warp button a little bit. Just give it a little tap, tap, tappy, tap, taparoo. And now we can start to burst the opposite direction just to slow it down. Pressing the I key here just to slow us down, because we're just about there. In fact, yes, there we are. Ooh, maybe a little bit further. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. It's tough. It's tough getting these things just right. Okay. I'm just going to push this thing a little bit that way, just so it's a little better lined up with the target. So we want to line up with that pink thing. There we go. Now all we got to do is press H. And these two things should meet up. There it goes. We'll just... Just drifting a little bit. Oh, 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 go that way, go that way, go that way, go that way. They're sliding. We're bumping uglies here. Ooh. There, I think it's got it. I think. I just have to untap the T key. Oh, there we go. What a monster this thing is. Holy crap. I think we're going to take a screenshot of that. That is a freaking beast right there. Okay, that's unbelievable. I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. But okay, here's the idea. Here's the plan, actually. I'm going to dump the fuel, press the Alt key, whatever fuel's left, I'm going to put it into... Hold on. Yeah, I'm going to put it into there. We're going to go out and out, which isn't a whole lot. That's all we get from that one. And this is where I'm just going to say goodbye to this thing. Quick save, just in case something horrible happens, and see you later. And we're just going to yeah, back up from that. Just back up, 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 back up. Okay. Whew. We are free of that monster. And now we have, well, this gray tank basically to push us some, hopefully most of the way to Duna. Well, now that I look at it, I'm going to go with a small fraction of the way. But that's okay. We did bring all this extra fuel in these nice things here. We just want to make sure the only engine that's active right now is this one, and I think it's true. Yes, these haven't been activated yet. Okay, so there's something important that we have to do, though. Using this thing here, we have to make sure that Duna is in the correct location for us to go to. Otherwise, we're going to waste a lot of fuel, and it looks like it's not in the right spot now, but it's not the worst spot possible. It could have been in a worse spot. Like if Duna was behind us, that would have been worse. But because Duna's in front of us, we can just time warp a little bit. Now, the rule of thumb basically is if you're going out to Duna, you want Kerbin to be like around here-ish. So that Duna's slightly in front of Kerbin, so that way when you burst out, Duna's going to move too, and you'll both meet up right around here-ish. Now, if I aimed for Duna now, I would hit about here, and Duna would be here. So we would miss it. It'd be way ahead of us. So what we have to do is time warp so that Kerbin comes up a little closer, maybe about 6 months to a year, to do that. But there's an easier way to do it, and it involves using Flight Engineer. We hit the Rendezvous tab, and we want Celestial Body. We want to aim for Duna. And what that's going to do is it's going to tell us the phase angle, and that's what we want to look at, whatever angle it is. Right now we're at 124. That's not the correct phase angle, and I don't think this thing actually tells you what it should be, unless it does. That might be telling us what it should be. Let me just check something real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. So it turns out that the correct phase angle from Kerbin to Duna is 44.36. So as you can see here, our phase angle is 124. And as you can also see, it's ticking down very slowly, meaning that very, very slowly we are catching up to Duna. So you might be thinking, oh, alright, let's just do a little time warp here, we'll just get this thing going. But there's the problem, we can't go faster than 50, and this will take forever to get down to where we need it to be. So we're going to do a little trick here, and we're going to go to something that's a little familiar to us. We're going to head over to Bob's little flag here on the far side crater. We're just going to go over there. And when we get here, we're going to use the fact that you can time warp when something's on the ground infinitely. So we'll just zoom out again to where we can see Duna, and this is not going to be exactly precise because we can't see now the phase angle because our thing was on the other ship, but what we can do is get it really close and then we can tweak it. So now we're cooking here, and excuse me, and so we're just going to wait until we catch up on Duna a little bit further. So you can see that the angle, the relationship between these two bodies is getting smaller and smaller. Right now it's less than 90 right now. So we got to get it to about 44, which is about half that. It's getting there. Somewhere close to here, actually. Now, if I had a protractor, I'd slap that thing on the screen, but I don't. So what we're going to do is go back to our ship. Here it is, the Duna command module. We'll just switch to it, and we'll check to see how we're doing. Let's go back to Celestial Body, Duna. 54.8, so we're close. Not quite there, we're about 10 degrees off. So I'm going to go off camera for a second, just try to get that as close as possible. Be right back. Alright, so I've got us within 1 degree. We're 1 degree off, just about, which is very close. I don't think it's going to make that big of a deal. We're just a degree behind where we need to be. If Kerbin was about right here, it'd probably be okay. But I dicked around with it far too long, so I kept trying to, every time I reloaded, I went too far, then I didn't go far enough, then I went too far again, so we're just going to do it right there. And so basically, now that we're in position, what you want to do is get yourself on the dark side of the planet. And we're just going to now boost ourselves along this purple line. Now you're going to want to try to get this as close as possible to the purple line. You get a little more speed that way. You don't have to burn quite as much. And you should get a very, very close encounter. Just going to move this, see if it helps at all. just making sure that that purple is lined up. So the reason it's not lining up perfectly is because, again, we were off by quite a bit. Well, not quite a bit, but we were off by 1 degree, and that 1 degree is actually making a bit of difference. So what we're going to have to do is mess around with the blue toggles. We'll get it very close, right? And then we'll just, let's see, the distance is 1,000,000. It's getting closer. Try to get that right down. It's tough. In fact, we're very close to the burn. What I might do is actually wait an entire revolution. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to try this once more. We're going to just get our maneuver node set up. Pull it out until it breaks the orbit. Travels along the purple line. We've already got something over here. It's 700,000. So what we're trying to do is just get this thing to be as close as possible. 400,000, 300,000. And we're having to pull the blue toggle because we are 1 degree off. There we go. See, so what we ended up having to do is come outside of the orbit a little bit, or actually we had to catch up on it, so we had to boost it in a little bit. But there's our encounter, 29 million meters. Let's see if we can bring that down just a scotch. 24 million. I'm just pulling the blue toggle. 18 million. The better we get it now, the better off we're going to be. 15 million. 13 million. Let's see if this does anything. 11 million. Here we go. 5 million. Oop, let's go back. 8 million. 12 million. It's very, very, very funny. 7 million. We'll do something like that, and we can always correct it on the way out. I mean, we're basically doing the same things that we did to get to the moon in Minmus, only just on a grander scale. And as you can see, here's what the problem was. We have to actually catch up on it, since we're not quite in the right position. We have to make ourselves go faster. That's why we're going inside of this this purple orbit. See how the orange line is going inside of it a little bit? We're playing catch-up, basically. If we had that angle just right at 44 degrees, we would be able to do it right along this purple line, and it would meet up just great. But we're actually, all it's penalizing us is maybe 100 meters per second of fuel, which is fine, really. Now this stage, the big booster, is only going to provide us with about 300 meters per second off of that. So we're going to have to burn a little bit ahead of it. We're not going to be able to do it the way we normally do it, unfortunately. Let's just get ourselves lined up properly here. Just have to find the node, and this is going to be a little difficult. There's going to be a bit of torquing going on here, but it should be okay. Once we ditch this stage and everything's smaller, it should be a little bit better. Just got to try to find that blue maneuver node. It's going to do a physical time warp here just to speed things along. It's probably going to be further along this way. Doing our delicate little dance here in space. Oh, it's way over there. Interesting. Yes, we're going to want to just time warp stop, the old time warp break, and we're going to try to get ourselves swing this giant ship around. better that we do this now. Here we go. Alright. So here we go, let's just move forward a little bit. And what I think I'll do is I'll start the burn, you know, somewhere over here. It's gonna be weird, it's gonna be like we're pushing into the planet. Maybe we might just get a little closer. We might have to go to a second pass. In fact, that's probably what we're gonna do. But let's get this baby started. We'll light the fires. Get some of this burn done this way. Kind of pushing into the planet a little bit. That's alright. And we will cut that stage off, a little bounce there. And hopefully I got rid of that one. Yeah, that was scary for a second. And let's light these guys up. You can see we're barely pushing ourselves. Barely at all. It's going to take us 4 minutes at this rate. Just because we're so heavy. So like I said, what I might do is kind of do a lot of the burn here, swing around and do it again. So this way we're get the most efficiency out of this thing. As the sun goes behind the horizon there. Just follow this. It's not as wobbly as I thought it was going to be. Not too bad. I got a lot of struts connecting here, so maybe it'll be alright. Maybe. Let's see what happens if I do a little time warp, just 2 times. Just to speed things along a little bit. That fuel, that's what it's there for. Yeah, I'll let us get to maybe about here, and then I'll swing around. This is probably quite boring to watch, so what I think I'll do is cut it, and then we'll get to the next point once we've swung around again. We've got about 2 minutes left, so yeah, we'll cut the engines here, and we will just start to swing around. And I might actually reset that maneuver node just so we can, because it's going to tell us we're late, and I don't want that to happen, so let's try that. Alright, so we are back. I reset the maneuver node again, got it to just about where we were. A nice 9 million meter encounter. We'll burn this thing at about 1 minute and 20 seconds. And that should get us the rest of the way. Hopefully. Yeah, I think we'll be alright. Little frame drop right there, but that's alright. She's big. She's a big craft. She doesn't like it. She's pissed off. But she'll be okay. Okay, we'll just do a little bit of our 2 times acceleration. There's a little bit of a wobble. Doesn't really like it too much. That's okay. Again, I've never really tested a mission like this before. It's so big in scale. I'm hoping we have enough fuel to get to both Ike and Duna and back again. It's going to be close, but we can try it. Heck, we've cut it close many times before. And that's why I packed all this extra fuel back here and all this extra fuel over here, so we might be alright. You know, it's always fun to see what's going to happen. So that rotating means that we have now broke Kerbin's gravity well. We are no longer a slave to Kerbin. We are now free to explore interplanetary space. Only about 16 seconds left of the burn. Just pushing ourselves the rest of the way. That orange orbit is our orbit. Just gonna follow that node as best as I can. Alright. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of manually try to get this thing in here as best as I can. Oh, okay, 11. We'll stick to 11. That's good. There we go. So we have our encounter. Our descending node is almost perfect. And as you can see, yeah, we are pretty much right on top of that orbit. It's just a tiny, teensy tenth of a degree off, which we can, again, always correct on the way there. And we will do a bit of correcting on the way to Duna. And then once we escape Kerbin, we have a good deal of interplanetary science to do, which is great, because we got all this room to store all that stuff in there. So that's stuff to look forward to in the next episode of Kerbal Space Program. We're going to see just how close we can get that orbit and all the science we can do once we are in interplanetary space. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you there.